Good morning. Let's take a deep breath and go to spirit within each one of us. Recognizing that there is but one power, one present, one divine source of all life, and each one of us are one with this power and present. And as we move through the day and through the year, we recognize that power, that omnipotent, omnipresent power of God working in and around and through, guiding and directing our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions. And as we let go and let the power and the presence of God move through us, guiding, directing, supporting us in all that we say and do, we find that we are one with this power. We are guided into wealth of health and wellness, in the areas of love and creativity, in the areas of relationships. We know that we are one with this power. This power is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omni-action in every area of our lives. And as we recognize it, we know and accept the divine presence within us, realizing and feeling and knowing that there is a power and a presence that is willing, ready to move us forward with ease and with joy and peace of mind. Peace of mind. Greater clarity. Greater self-acceptance. We are divine ideas in the mind of God, divinely supported, guided, and directed. We let go of fear, of doubt, of anxiety, realizing this invisible presence that is everywhere, evenly present, is waiting our recognition, waiting our acceptance. We open up the portals of our consciousness and say, "Come in, Spirit, we are ready. I am one with God. I am the divine spirit individualized right here, right now. And I let go and I let God. For God is all there is and there is nothing else. This infallible presence is ready and willing to move us forward with joy. All that we can imagine, all that we can embody, the Spirit is ready to provide that source, that particular item. Whatever we need, Spirit is there to guide us, to move us forward, to obtain health and wellness, prosperity, love, joy, freedom and ease and movement, greater love. The love of God, the divine presence of God, is always moving us forward. We are open and receptive to this idea. We embody the love of God. We emanate. We are from this source that is ongoing, ever expanding. With praise and gratitude for the divine presence of God within each one of us, I release this treatment into the law of mind and action, who has accepted and acted upon it once. And so it is.
Thank you, Fanny, for that beautiful treatment. That was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And thanks for the time for our lesson this morning. Thank you. And now please help me welcome Barbara Blake. She's also a licensed practitioner with us.
Good morning. Today's reading is from Can We Talk to God? The chapter on becoming receptive to the divine. I was stimulated to discuss this topic through reading an article by a great industrialist in which he states that in his belief we are surrounded by ideas, that we have always been surrounded by ideas, and if we were receptive to them, we should be able to find out anything that we wish to know. But he says, thinking is the hardest thing in the world. If you can develop thinkers, you can develop people who can do what they wish to do, have what they wish to have, and be what they wish to be. We are surrounded by the infinite mind, which should become receptive to it, could acquaint us with anything and everything I would like. However, to differentiate between the thoughts of being surrounded by ideas and the thought of being surrounded by an infinite mind, ideas are the product of mind. Hence, mind is the father of ideas. There could be no thought without a thinker. I believe that we are surrounded by both ideas and the mind that conceives them, surrounded by an infinite intelligence, which is the mind of God and the potential storehouse of all possible knowledge. This must be true if we are dealing with the mind of God. This infinite mind is the cause of all that is and the ultimate of all. It is open to us as our thoughts. It is open to us as our thought is receptive to it. So an inventor draws inventive genius from it, a painter the inspiration to paint. What we draw from this mind is, of course, poured through the avenues of our own consciousness and interpreted in our act. In this way, each is an individualization of the universal spirit, and so it is.
And so it is. Wonderful, wonderful, thank you. So I have our announcements for us today, and I just want to let you know that we did have a little glitch last week and this week with regard to our connection to the credit card machine. So if you would like to, you can if you're going to give with the credit card, you can still give it to Rick and we'll call it in. And next week it will be corrected. We're getting a new iPad and everything will be fixed for that. Or you can go on Facebook and there's a donate page that we put on there if you'd like to do that. Just having said that. So what I always say each week is that you will feel better than when you came in, when you leave. I know that for a fact. We have a wonderful, wonderful speaker with us today. And we just have a great community here. We really do. I want to share with you something. We will have a workshop that I am doing the third week in August. I'm going to continue with the workshop that we did before. We're going to have a second part of that. And there's going to be classes. We'll be starting September, I believe it's September 23rd. I want to share with you. I had a phone call right after we did our group community meeting, and we asked for meditation. Remember that? Everybody wanted to learn how to meditate. So this is what we received. It's all what I tell you. When you ask for something, you receive it. So this man, his name is Michel Pascal. He's going to be with Myron McKinley of Earth, Wind, and Fire at Carnegie Hall on Monday, November 26th, and I'll have all the details for you. But he's coming here to do a meditation presentation for us. So I didn't think anything of it. In fact, I didn't hear it correctly. I thought he was in Earth, Wind, and Fire. It would have been nice. Earth, Wind, and Fire meditation sounded kind of good. So let me tell you about this man, though. I was like, wow, this guy is amazing. Okay, he's coming here. I'm excited. So, okay, here's a brief discussion. He does something called the Medicine Boys, and he teaches you how to reconnect with your light and expand your consciousness. He teaches you how to recycle your emotions as a key to well-being and guide you in meditation. He's also written a book called Meditation for Daily Stress. So this is what we received, but I want to share with you, there's pictures of the Indians and all the different people that he's worked with. But this is what this man has done in his life before I introduce our wonderful speaker. Before moving to the United States, he went to the Himalayas and he studied there for 15 years with his mentor, the late Buddhist master, I can't say this correctly, forgive me, Shiva Dorje Rinpoche, I think that's it. And he also is a disciple of Jean-Yves Leloup. He studied with neuroscientist Dr. Mario Borgard, who holds the title as one of the top 100 most important pioneers in science in the 21st century. Now, if you're not impressed, I certainly am. So I think this man is going to be wonderful. He also studied with Natalie Trent. She's a PhD author at Harvard University. She teaches at Harvard meditation. So this man is coming here. Can you imagine? This is what we're demonstrating. So you know what I thought about? I said, you know what? We're demonstrating this, so the next time we have a meeting, let's put an intention out for prosperity. And we'll invite that in. And we'll probably get one of the grades for prosperity. Good idea? Yes. Thank you. Okay, so having said all of that, we now have a wonderful, wonderful speaker who's coming to us. Her name is Shonda Fields. You all know her. And before she does that, we're supposed to have music. I'm just getting excited about this, and he's sitting there looking at me like, hey, wait a minute. So please help me welcome our wonderful K Dice. Dice K? Yes. Okay. Dice K. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, my name is Daisuke. I'm first time music. I'm originally from Japan. I'm gonna play some music for you. As my introduction of myself, I'm gonna play the tune I wrote for the message from North of Winter.
Thank you so much for that, Daisuke. That was really beautiful. Thank you. And now it is a pleasure to really warmly welcome up Shonda Fields, our licensed practitioner. She's going to be doing our talk today on divine guidance. So please help me welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So first of all, before I start, I want to thank the community for your prayers and Reverend Loretta for your prayers, and just, holding me in consciousness. Some of you know that, I had a little surgery and it went well. But during that time, before I went into the surgery, I spoke to Reverend Loretta because I was very upset about having to get cut on. And, Reverend Loretta told me to surrender. And during the time of recovery, it was interesting because I found it very difficult to surrender. And why I was, and it was interesting as I was having different people who really didn't meditate were telling me to just surrender and meditate, Shonda. So that's what I ended up doing, and there was a lot of things that were revealed to me. So as Reverend, you said that there would be a gift in it. So I want to thank you for that and for just your continued support with me. And I want to acknowledge Barbara for the treatment. Thank you very much. For the reading, and Fanny for the treatment. And just acknowledging all of you all for being here today, because there's other places that you could be. So the talk today is about divine guidance. And I broke down the word divine and guidance. So divine, of, from, or like God. Guidance, advice, or information aimed at resolving a problem. Divine guidance for me is information from God to resolve a problem. And when I read that and reread that over and over again when I was doing the talk, and tears are coming to my eyes, because I realized that everything that we go through in life, that God is actually providing us guidance to help us fix whatever challenges that we have in our life. But sometimes, including myself, I can't hear it. And then I started to really feel that God loves me so much. And he's saying to me each and every day that I'm here, and I'm here to solve your problems, but you gotta let me in. Thanks. So let me tell you a story. And you might have heard this one, but this one really resonates with me. So when I was about 18 years old, I had a big fight with my father. And my dad is my best friend. And my dad stopped speaking to me for about a week. And I was devastated because it was losing a piece of me. It was just a really bad argument. And so I was crying and I was praying, and I didn't hear God's voice. Didn't hear it. And then I had my Bible, and I opened my Bible, and I was like, where are you? Because this isn't working for me. So I actually took my Bible, and I threw my Bible across the floor. And then I went over there and picked it up and flipped it over. And the passage, Isaiah 49:10, was there. And it says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." And I say this and I repeat this because that was the first time in my life that I can recall really knowing God was there for me. Now, I don't recommend throwing a Bible, but it worked in that moment. And God has said to me that I'm here and that we're going to work this out. And about, I would say, 7 o'clock that evening, my father comes into my room and he goes, "We need to talk." And we took a walk, and he said, "You know, I apologize because I saw how bad you were hurting." And he goes, "But God spoke to me and said that I need to speak to you." That's divine guidance. That's God working on your behalf when you don't even realize that he's working on our behalf. And sometimes when we go through life, we experience different things and we're not knowing exactly what's going on. We don't understand it. But I promise you that God is working, always working for us to receive and understand, and we just get to let God in so we can hear the voice, hear the divine guidance. So how do you access divine guidance? Well, first of all, it's a gift. We don't have to access it because it is who we are. Joel Goldsmith said, "There is not God and you or I, there is only God manifested as an individual being." Each and every one of us in this room is a manifestation of God individualized. And together, we are the collective consciousness of this world. So when we walk down the street or when we see someone, we are actually seeing the God in them if you take a deeper look. No matter what they're doing, no matter how they're acting, there is a deeper connection with every person because we are all individualized expressions of God. That's the truth. And we get to own that truth. And what happens is that sometimes it is our ego selves, not our God self, that gets in the way. And we look at people and we judge people and we say all these things. You know what? And that's part of the human experience. This is part of the human experience, okay? I'm not saying that we're all perfect and we all... No, because I know I'm not. I argue with my partner every day. I don't see the God in her every day. But when I take a step back, I said, oh yeah, that was God, but it was me who was in the way. It was that humanness that was in the way. It wasn't that God self that was allowing God to flow through. But each and every person, as I look at you, each and every one of you, individualized expressions of God. So it's not something that we access. We get to allow the unfolding of divine guidance. Think about that. We get to allow the unfolding of divine guidance because that is who we are. It is in us. We are it. So it unfolds. Like I said, it's like a gift. And you just continue to unwrap and unwrap and unwrap, and it just unfolds into something so magical and beautiful in your life. We have to tap into this unfolding nature. So I had mentioned during my last talk about my friend who was in Boston. I was on a business trip, and I actually decided for whatever reason to go find her in a courthouse because she's an attorney. And I walked into the courthouse. I walked into the state house. I said, I don't know where she is. They were like, we'll start on the 3rd floor. So I'm wandering around on the 3rd floor, and then I walk into a room, and she's like, Shonda, what are you doing here? And I was like, happy birthday. So that was divine guidance because I followed something inside of me. It was just this knowingness, right? So 3 weeks ago, I received a text from her. And she goes, you know that day that you showed up in my office? She goes, I want to thank you because during that time, I spent a good another hour with her talking about her challenges and talking about things that she was going through in life and listening to her. And then I started praying for her and sending her prayers and holding her in consciousness about things that she wanted because she didn't get a promotion that she had desired. And she goes, well, Shonda, let me tell you something. You were divinely guided to me that day because I had given up. And she goes, but I just want to let you know that I have just been given a clerkship for, I don't know, some guy, in Boston, but it's closer to my home. She goes, I'm making more money, And she goes, and I don't even know how my name got thrown in the hat. And she was just like, and I get sworn in August 6th. And she said, thank you. Thank you for listening to yourself. Thank you for showing up. Because you got to understand that I haven't spoken to this woman in about a year. Okay? We text, but for some reason, I was drawn to go speak with her. So how do we allow divine guidance in? First step one, you still the mind, which allows us to connect to our God self, that inner wisdom. Now, a lot of people are wondering how do I still the mind? Reverend Loretta spoke about it earlier. Meditation. Meditation is one way to still the mind. Meditation, for me, it works. And meditation doesn't have to be an hour. It can be 2 minutes. It can be 3 minutes. But it's taking that time to be still. Because as my mother used to say to me, and she still does, but she said to me that, she didn't call it meditation, but she would say that she would lie on the floor, and I would ask her what she was doing, and she was like, I'm listening to God. So I would lie on the floor with her, and I was like, I don't hear anything. I'm going back outside and play. And then as I got older and I started learning about the practice of meditation, I was like, oh, this is what she was doing. So I'm glad that we're going to be having the workshop on meditation because it's an amazing practice. There's other things such as yoga. Yoga is not about the exercise, and that's what people think it's about. It's really about the breath. Because your breath is the one thing that God has given you in this body. When you breathe in, that's the first thing. When you come into this world, the first thing that you have is your breath. When you make your transition, the last thing is your breath. So when we connect to our breath, we're connecting to, I believe, our God self. We're connecting to the essence of who we are. Another thing that I enjoy is writing. Just automatic writing. In the morning, I get up and I have my morning practice, and I write, and I just started off as like, dear God, thank you. And then I let everything else just kind of flow out of me. But it connects me to who I am. It connects me to my God self. I even state, help me release my ego as I move through this day. Because I'm connecting to the essence, and I'm acknowledging each and every person that's out there in the world with me. When we connect and still the mind, what is really happening is that we're transcending from our consciousness to our subconscious. That subconscious, as we know in our teaching, is where everything is connected. It is that oneness. It is where the seeds are planted. As we know that we don't work with the world of effect, we work with first cause, which is spirit. But to move down from your conscious, the chatter, you got to quiet the mind and move to that subconscious. There's so many people, some people are so talented, they can move to the subconscious and connect with someone else's subconscious. And we do it. We do it when we pick up that phone and call someone. I did it when I walked by, I went to the courthouse. There was a knowingness inside that said, do this. That's that subconscious plane, and that's where we get to play. That's where the divine guidance lives in us to unfold. That's where all the seeds have been planted because of our beliefs, and that's where we get to uproot those seeds and play in that space. So again, meditation, breathing, connecting. You can even take a walk and look at the tree and just acknowledge the oneness of the tree, because that same tree is who we are. We're not separate. We get to let go of these ideas of separation so we can connect to the divine guidance that dwells within us. Step 2 is to listen and trust. This is key because sometimes we hear the divine guidance, and I know that I do, and I don't trust it. I don't trust it. Don't know if it's fear, but I don't trust it. Right now, I'm just saying it is part of my growth. And I'll tell you a story about, I work in the financial world, and I had an investment. So I made an investment, and the investment was going well. And I decided to make another investment. Now, when I got ready to hand over the check, I kid you not, there was something inside of me that said, do not give that check. Okay? It wasn't even like, do not give. It was just this knowingness. Don't hand over that check. But guess what? I handed over the check. And that entire investment went south. So instead of losing X amount of dollars, I lost 2X, exactly. And so I sat in anger. I sat in being a victim. And I was upset because I knew that I had been guided, but I didn't listen. So after I got through that, I started to think about, okay, what is the anger teaching me? Because here's the thing, everyone, is that God loves us so much, we have these things called feelings that guides us. Fear guides us. Anger guides us. But we don't ask the question. We fight the anger, and we do not embrace the anger. We do not embrace the fear. But there's a message. Divine guidance. That's how much God loves us, because I was so angry, I didn't know. But when I started sending love to the anger and asking the question, what is the gift in this for me? It was very simple. You don't trust me, Shonda. And that was very hard for me, because I'm like, but I pray and I meditate, and it was like, no, there's a deeper level of trust that you get to know. And I had to sit with that. I had to really sit, and then I became even more diligent in my practice. And Reverend Loretta says, just to take 15 minutes a day to just start a practice, because the practice is not for you to get something. The practice is for you to unfold the knowingness of the divine guidance, so it just flows to you with ease and grace. So every problem that comes into your life, it just dissipates, it just moves, because you're already aligned with the presence of who you are. So this is the gift that anger gave me. So now, I sit, I do my best to listen, and sometimes it doesn't even make sense. The next step is inspired action. Sometimes we feel, I'm not going to say we, I'm going to talk about me. Sometimes I feel that I know it all. Things are moving, I'm like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. But it's not inspired, it's just me going. But see, inspired action is where the magic lives. It is where you are inspired to do something, and sometimes you're inspired to not do anything and just be still. For example, last week, the head of the Americas Index Division called me up and said, Shonda, I'm resigning. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, and by the way, I told my boss that you can do my job. And I was like, wow. He asked me who would be the best person to replace me, and I said, Shonda, and I've only been at this firm a year. That's divine guidance. Because I didn't know any idea where my career is going, what's next for me. But do you see, there was no having to prove myself. There was no competitive nature. God was working behind the scenes because I was getting up every morning and just saying, I trust you, I trust you, I trust you, I trust you. And I'm working and I'm working and I'm working. And I don't mean work is, when I say the word work, it's not something that you have to do. It's something that I desire to do. Because I see when I get up and connect with Spirit and work with Spirit and ask for the divine guidance each and every day, my life unfolds. I see that when I come home and I've had some challenges in my day, and I sit down instead of complaining about it, and I get still and say, what is the gift in this for me? And I realize that most of the time, the gift is basically to show you where you are. That's how much God loves you. To show you where you are today. There's no judgment. It's all neutral. Because everything in our life is happening for us, not to us. So every aspect is for us. So when you have an argument with someone, it's because to show you, guess what? Your ego's still too big. That's it. So you're at choice right now. You can choose next time to be calm, or you can choose not to be calm. So this just came to me, so I'm going to share this one. And I apologize, Karen. But I'm going to share this one. So my partner and I had an argument. And for the first time in a long time, I got quiet. I didn't say a word. And I was inside just, but I didn't say a word. I just closed my eyes and I sat with it. And I was like, what is this showing me? And it was just like, you want to be right. You still don't believe you're worthy. You still don't believe your voice is heard. You still don't believe you're good enough. Those are all the things that were coming up to me. And it came to me in less than a minute. Okay? So I didn't say a word. We get home, I'm still not saying a word. Because I'm sitting with it. I'm sitting with it for me. It has nothing to do with her. I go to the gym, I come home, and then she says, I apologize. And right there, that was divine guidance. Because it was showing me, Shauna, this is how you show up in the relationship because of your own insecurities. And she's just a gift. I might not like it sometimes, but she's just a gift, showing me where I am. And then the next day, I failed. I wasn't quiet. But when I sat back, I was like, oh my God, it's another gift. So I wanted to share that because this is the magic. This is the gift for us. All these feelings, all these emotions, everything that we're going through is just a gift to guide us in the right direction. So if you do your spiritual practice each and every day, the door will open. And even when you're not doing your spiritual practice, God is still saying, I love you so much. I'm going to solve a problem. I'm going to give you information. You might not want to hear me, but I might bring your neighbor over who wants to say something, but it's up to you to be open. See, that's what's so beautiful about this life. We're always at choice. And our choices, guess what? They're not right. They're not wrong. They're just choices. And then we get to learn from them. And as we start looking at our world and we start seeing the results in our lives, because I've said this before, the results in our life are just a mirror for what's happening on the inside of us. As we know in our teaching, we don't play with the physical. We play with first cause. We play with spirit to change the physical realm. So again, step 3, inspired action, is about where the magic is. So what I want to do is I want to invite you for the fall. I want to invite you to take in the following. The divine guidance is unfolding in you. You get to connect, listen, trust, and take inspired action. Ernest Holmes said, the one seeking to demonstrate the power of spiritual realization in everyday affairs, should believe in divine guidance and that everything in this life is controlled by love, harmony, and peace. So as you move through your day, focus on who you are being. Are you being love? Are you being harmony? Are you being peace? Now, I would like to close with a meditation. So if you all could just sit up in your chairs and close your eyes, open your body. And I want you to breathe in. I'm going to play some music for you, but I want you to breathe in on a count of 6. So you're going to breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I want you to hold it for a count of 2. And I want you to exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As you breathe into your body, acknowledging the essence of who you are, letting go, connecting with your breath, connecting with your God self, breathing in deeply, surrendering to the essence, feeling all of you, feeling the vibration in your body, connecting with the oneness, your God self. Right here, right now, each and every person in this room is acknowledging that who they are, acknowledging that they are one with God, acknowledging that God is, I am, and this is their truth. Letting go of all fear, letting go of all frustration, letting go of self-doubt, and knowing that God is manifested in them as an individualized expression of God. Knowing that God loves them unconditionally, breathing in, dropping deeper into yourself, surrendering, knowing that all is well, knowing that there is nothing that you need to do, knowing that there is nothing wrong, knowing that you are pure love, knowing that you are harmony, knowing that you are peace, knowing that you have a birthright. Your birthright is divine guidance. That is who you are. Every appearance of problems that are in your life is not the truth. Spirit is behind the scene. So lean in to yourself. Go in, go deeper, and connect. Now take a deep breath in, and then exhale, letting go of all tension. Right here, right now, knowing your truth. You are gods and goddesses walking this earth. Each person in this room has a purpose. Connect to your feelings. Bless them, knowing that they are there, showing you the way. Knowing that you are whole, perfect, and complete. This is who you are. You are not this physical body. You are much bigger than yourself. Right here, right now, in this moment, as you're breathing in, saying thank you. Thank you to all that I am. Thanking God for all that I am. For you are the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning, and the end. And so it is. Amen.
just have a few words now. I just want to say, Shonda came with us to see John of God, and I have watched her amazing growth over the years, and it's just a privilege to have you with us today, an absolute privilege and an honor. And I know that you are meant to do so many great things in the world. I just know that really, Shonda. I really do. I know you're going back to John of God, and the music was beautiful. The service was absolutely beautiful. The talk, everything. Thank you, Fanny, for your treatment, and thank you, Barbara, for your reading, and thank you all. And thank you, Dice K, for the beautiful music. We'll be hearing from you again as soon as we have our offering, okay? I'm just kind of speechless, but the one thing that struck me about this talk today is something that Rumi said, and I want to share it with you, because this is really what Shonda is talking about. Spend as much time in the inner as you do in the outer. The outer work is important, but the inner work is the key to everything. And I'm almost speechless from that. That was just so, not only was it beautiful, but it was very touchy. It touched my heart. It really touched my heart. Okay, so now we're going to have our offering affirmation. So let's say our offering affirmation together. It's on the inside of your program. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, support, and bless. It is evidence of my absolute conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I joyfully release my gift, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is. And so right now, in this moment, we recognize, know, understand, and accept that God is our source. And as we give, that giving comes back to us multiplied so abundantly, and so it is. And now we have our prayer for the month of July, which is on the inside of your program. Let's say that together. Today, I ask for and receive divine guidance. And as a result, I receive so many blessings. God's guidance operates within me as a creative process. Whatever I need, wherever I turn, the divine presence supports my journey. Centered in the one mind, today is my day of amazing demonstration. Thank you, Spirit, for all that I am by means of you, and so it is. And now please help me welcome back Dice K for some more wonderful music.
Okay, now I'd like to say song probably you know, Stevie Wonder, Overjoyed.
Thank you. And now we have our time for sharing, so if there's anyone in the audience that would like to share anything about the message this morning or